I think I've told you on the air that, or off the air, that you were a huge influence to me and a lot of my friends. We were, as John said before we went on, John, our producer, people we were talking about, and there was not much Canadian music that rose above the fray like yours did, in my eyes.
Oh,
And right from like Painted Ladies, of course, was amazing. Now, do you mind if I ask you a few questions about your writing process?
I don't know.
Because was Painted Ladies, was that sort of were you sort of channeling yourself through like through a Neil Diamond or Neil Young or or America for that song? Because it's certainly in that vein.
It is, and I think I was pretty impressionable in my youth. Although that folky three-way Crosby, Stills, and Nash vocal thing, which of course America lifted from Crosby, Stills, and Nash, it's the
Correct.
same, very similar voicings. I was doing that in my folky years, since the mid 60s. So that sort of stuff, I had a folk duo, then a folk trio early on. And so choruses that sounded three-way. Yeah, I think in terms of the character in my voice, I was such a huge Neil Young fan that it sort of sunk in a little, and it took me an album or two to sort of find my own voice. But it was definitely an influence for sure, I would think.
Well, you're always such a chameleon. I mean, the difference in your voice between, let's say, Painted Ladies, Right Before Your Eyes, Liars. I mean, the sound of your voice in Liars is like a whole different sound. It's like when I've shown people some of your catalog, went, that's the same guy. I didn't know that was the same guy.
Yeah.
They didn't realize the breadth of your actual musical catalog.
Certain songs, they just required I could only sing them with certain character. It's that song was just a right good scream, but once again, but don't you bother to say it, those were block vocals, like, Crosby, Stills, and Nash, or, a lot of the stuff again from the folk days. So when you transport that, I mean, that was what was interesting about what the Beatles did. I mean, it was an interesting amalgamation of stuff, the skiffle bands. And then, what was interesting about how all the Brits, for God's sakes, if they sang their songs in their own accents, it would have been, can you imagine Annie Lennox she's a Scot. Sweet dreams are made of these. Travel the world in the 70s, always looking for someone, we would have listened to it and gone, oh, for God's sakes. I mean, the Proclaimers got away with it with 500 miles because it was just kind of quaint and youthful, and the energy of it was great. But Mick, John, Paul, all those Brits were doing their best to sing with sort of the R&B black influenced American accents. And
right.
So I don't think there's anything disingenuous about it.
No, of course not. Everybody borrows from everybody,
well,
and
yeah.
pays tribute to, as they say.
Well, and that was my God, I think the Stones did more than anybody to elevate a lot of the old blues guys up on the concert circuit in Europe.
Absolutely.
So
well, yeah, you hear interviews all the time that if it wasn't for the Stones, a lot of these blues guys, but they just didn't have, they didn't have the notoriety that they deserved. They were rock stars to the rock stars in England.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I guess what you were bringing up, though, I think maybe you could say was a marketable problem with me, in that I sang in a voice that I thought suited the song, and that changed a fair amount from song to song, and it maybe was confusing to some people. I don't know.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Check out our other vignettes and full episodes from a wide variety of guests for more great content. Please like, share, and subscribe, and become a member at socialenergypresents.com to access premium content and earn valuable energy points just for watching.